Welcome, have a seat. Let's chat.
Shall we?
Let's.
Okay.
What do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about Fort Knox, Kentucky.
Oh, that was a nice place.
Yeah. So as promised in the episode 1, we're gonna go duty station by duty station and give you the lowdown on at each place we stopped, what we learned, what we loved, and how we left it. And that brings us to Fort Knox. But before we get into that, let's talk real quick about did we have any agrarian background before we joined the Army?
So what knowledge base are we starting at?
Yeah,
Is that what
where
we're
are we starting at?
I was starting at 0.
Yeah.
I grew up eating food. Yeah, he said we're doing good. We grew up eating food, I did, but we didn't grow any food. We had cats, dogs, fish, and that was it. I don't actually remember having dogs, because by the time my memories start, like we had cats and fish, but that's it for me. You?
I didn't have any livestock or anything like that. The only agrarian connection I really had until I was like 14, 15 years old was helping friends and family out with gardening, and that was really just to give us some experience. We snapped peas with our grandparents, shucked corn, but at our house we did not have a garden of any kind. And then when I was 14, started riding horses with my grandpa, because he kind of got back into horses at that point in time. But that was it. That was the extent of my agrarian background.
Did you help care for the horses, or did you just get to show up and ride?
As we got a few more, then I showed up every day and helped care for them.
So your learning probably started at 14 with big animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
With large stock.
Good deal. And so what year did we move to Fort Knox?
2007 in
2007,
September.
So 13 years ago.
Yep, September of 2007.
Okay, so 13 years ago, what was the first question about Fort Knox?
So what we learned.
What did we learn at Fort Knox?
So you get into, first off, on Fort Knox, we lived on the installation the whole time we were there, which was about
22 months.
Yeah.
We lived there exactly 22 months.
2 years. Okay, 22 months. Exactly. To the day, to the moment, to the second.
It felt like it.
Felt every minute of it, I guess. But yeah, we lived in townhomes
Yep.
the whole time.
Yep.
So
we were a center one, so we didn't even have like a side yard.
Yeah.
We had the front strip and we had
the
a back strip.
Yep.
So we didn't even have flowers, actually. Now I think about how sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. Not
Well,
even
go ahead.
flowers.
What do we learn?
What did we learn? So
How did we get into that?
at Fort Knox, we had our most successful crop to date is children. We are very good at growing them. We have 5, and our second one was born at Fort Knox, a Mazra. A Mazra, that's the first thing. And because we had 2 kids at this point, and we were young and in the beginning of
I'm gonna put the screen, okay?
Okay.
and in the beginning of life and trying to figure out who we were and where we were going, we
The screen,
I babysat kids to
Okay.
help. So that was Yeshma. She's trying to fix screens so she can hear us. So anyway, I babysat kids so that we would have extra money for fun stuff and yummy groceries, not just necessities. And so in babysitting, I met another mom who babysat kids and was at her house doing paperwork one day and saw these amazing garden boxes that she had in her front yard. And when you live on a military installation, you're not allowed to dig in the soil. Like your kids can't dig out a sand pit. Not that kids would ever dig a sand pit anywhere that we've ever lived accidentally.
Or on purpose.
Or purposefully, yeah. Or just some ankle-biting hole. But anyway, so you're not supposed to dig in the soil because once the dirt is dug out, it's really hard to get it back to level. If you have children who've ever dug a sand pit, you'll realize this as well. So she had raised garden beds where the whole thing could be moved and taken, and you didn't really leave a mark on the soil other than dead grass underneath. So I was really curious about this because she was talking about how like she got her snacks for her daycare kids or babysitting kids from there, and like she's growing this organic food, and it's like in my mind I'm like, this is like free organic food, and I'm very aware of what groceries cost because we were very budget conscious, and like if it didn't fit in the budget, it didn't go in the grocery cart, and like I kept track all the way through the grocery store. So this these boxes of bountiful green peppers were Maddie's favorite vegetable, and she had green pepper plants, and there were so many, and I was just like, oh my word, I have got to do this. And so she humored me, and she answered all my questions, and she told me about the book that she had read, because she had been gardening for a long time, but doing it on post. She was doing a new method with the square foot gardening, and she obviously was a successful gardener. And so she told me about this book, and I came home and I told Avery about this book, and I was like, we have to get this book, and it was like $20, which was a stretch. And so we worked it out and worked it into the budget, and probably for Mother's Day or something, I don't remember when I got the book, but I got the book, read the whole book, completely fascinated at the like how to mix good soil and what can grow with what, and how you can fit so much into a small space, and you can grow this for so long, and then when it comes out you can put something else in the dirt, and like just completely blew my mind. No idea that this is how growing food works. And so we got the book, and then like building these boxes and building the soil, it's not actually free food because we had to have the boxes and the soil. So we worked that into the budget, figure it out, get it all built, get it put together. We got seeds going, and then we had orders to move. So we didn't actually eat anything out of those boxes that we worked so hard budgeting into the plan.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like a kick in the gut. Like we just did all this work, and it was so like kind of a, you know, takes the wind out of your sails. So we were certain we were taking it with us because we're moving to South Alabama. That's where we're headed next. And so we're certain we're taking it with us. Well, there's a few things that the Army won't take for you. They won't take propane tanks full of fuel, which makes sense, that no explosions necessary. They won't take your riding lawnmower, also makes sense, full of fuel. And they obviously won't take like 800 pounds of dirt. I don't even know why. I don't know how that made it into the plan, but they won't. So we rented a U-Haul or something, and we took the dirt with us.
Yeah.
And tried again at our next duty station. But as far as Fort Knox goes, we like kind of got our appetites wet for gardening and started the learning process with gardening.
Yep.
What about you? Anything else?
No, I would say that's what we learned.
Yep. What did we love?
We loved Mazra.
We did love Mazra. We had a good church family there too.
Yeah, we did. We did have a good church family there.
And we really plugged into like small groups and sharing life with people,
Yeah.
which I think is another important part of growing, like growing as a person. So we learned about sharing life with people.
But in terms of our lifestyle, I was really busy then. I was a medic, and that particular unit I was in was it was a training unit, so we worked all the time. And then okay, so let's skip ahead to how we left it, and I mean, how do you leave a residential place in terms of agriculture? We left it kind of how we found it, except for we put a chain link fence in the backyard because we got a black lab while we were there, and then we wound up giving that black lab away before we even left to another soldier who lived on, or not on post, but who lived there and was getting out there and had land.
And boys, little boys that wanted to run
little
with
boys
a
that
puppy.
wanted to run with a high energy lab. So that about sums up Fort Knox. Next time we'll talk about our next duty station was Fort Rucker, Alabama, and kind of what took place there. You won't want to miss that. We have some really fond memories of Fort Rucker. We call it Fort Rucker the first time because we went there twice. So that sums it up. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and you'll have a blessed day.